Well, we have a live guest with us on the telephone. Jeff, you might know this person.
Never heard of anybody. We get to talk now?
We actually get to talk now, but what we're going to be talking about is best revival of a play and best revival of a musical, and we're going to do that with Jeff's co-host on a show called Two on the Aisle. It airs weekly on Manhattan Cable Television.
The best theater show ever, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
I'm on it, and that's all you should know.
Okay, good enough. Charlie, maybe you can be a little more specific. Charlie Gross?
Two on the Aisle actually is on every other every other Friday night, 8 o'clock. We were on Channel 57. We've just moved to Channel 56. Now, if you can't wait until Friday night, you can see us on YouTube, www.youtube.com.
Is it up, Charlie? We looked for it the other day. It wasn't up.
You, look a little harder. Type Two on the Aisle in the browser.
No, I mean, when we were looking for the Tony special that we did. Is that up now?
The special has not been posted yet, unfortunately.
Ah, okay.
Because we had to rush the only copy of the tape that we had right from the studio to the broadcast center, so it could be broadcast last Friday. The Tony show should be on.
It's just about secret is the final episode of The Sopranos, right?
When is the final episode of The Sopranos?
Oh, it's opposite the Tony Awards. What else should it be opposite?
So the Tony Awards will get a 4 rating.
Our Tony show will be on YouTube on no later than Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Good. So all you got to do is go do a Google, a kind of search on YouTube.
Right.
Just
Two
on the Aisle.
Two on the Aisle. You can type in Jeff Goodman. You can type in Charles Gross.
And occasionally
you can even
Dave
type
Lefkowitz.
in David Lefkowitz. Yes, fans of Mr. Dave's Gone By, you can actually see the face behind the voice, because as he has pretty much for every year since we've been doing our Tony show, Dave joins us.
That's true.
So you can see...
If you want to crack your computer screen and see my face, that's the way to do it.
Well, guys, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what you see. And ladies, I'm afraid he's taken. But Jeff's available, so...
This is true. We can try and hook up Jeff with theater lovers if you're out there. But we got to get to our categories. We got to get rolling. So
we're having our annual data critic.
Best revival of a play. Let's start with that. The nominated, yes, Inherit the Wind, Journey's End, Talk Radio, and Translations.
You know what I'm noticing here, looking at the 4 nominees, is that Journey's End is probably going to win, but nobody really saw it. You realize that it was so dark that you really couldn't see what was on the stage. And Translations, nobody could understand a word that was being spoken.
I know you're being exaggerating and being facetious.
I couldn't
understand translation?
No, not at all.
Oh my! Oh
no.
well,
I think Talk Radio has Liev Schreiber, who is just so incredible. It gives such a strong tour de force performance in a good play, but not a great play. You have 2 really good plays here, neither of which have been seen on Broadway in some time: Journey's End and Inherit the Wind.
Well, Inherit the Wind was
on recently.
George C. Scott was in that last one just before he died.
And how long ago was that?
Less than 10 years.
Okay, well,
had to be.
That's still a while ago, and it was not a long run. And I think, given that we have a war going on, the show, which is not judgmental about war, but just tries to give you an idea of what it's like to be on the front line, and does a very good job of it, I think hits home a lot harder than it might at some other time. Inherit the Wind, which is, of course, the famous creationism versus evolution
monkey trial, Charlie. It's the Scopes monkey trial.
Scopes monkey trial, which was...
But fictionalized, yeah.
Yeah, well, fictionalized, which was evolution versus creationism. It gives 2 really strong performances, Christopher Plummer and...
Brian
Dennehy.
Charles Durning. Oh, no, it's Brian Dennehy. I always confuse them, yeah.
Charles Durning was in the previous
revival.
A really strong play, and I would not be disappointed to see Inherit the Wind. To see Inherit the Wind win the Tony.
Well,
I think it will be.
But ironically, Journey's End will close and then win the Tony.
It will. Journey's End is closing on Tony night, June 10th.
Which is very ironic.
I Inherit the Wind. I don't know. I love the 2 main performers, but some other aspects of that revival kind of left me cold. Dennis O'Hare. I think I've mentioned this a few times. What was he doing in that show?
He was doing the Dennis O'Hare bit.
Yeah, I mean, it had no connection to anything on planet Earth.
He's a wonderful actor, but
somebody
had to rein him in.
Yeah, weird. Okay, let's get to the musicals. Best revival of a musical.
Now, I think this is where you have to remember the term best revival. because of the shows, the Apple Tree, A Chorus Line Company, 110 in the Shade,
Mm-hmm.
by far a chorus line, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think a chorus line will win because a chorus line that we're seeing now is essentially the same chorus line that originally came to Broadway. They've made no changes, no attempt to update it, no innovations in the staging.
I agree.
And I have to say that I think that was a good idea because seeing this revival of a chorus line affected me and touched me a lot more than the original production ever did. Now, I'll say I did not see it with the original cast, and that may have been part of it. And also, in this particular instance, I was sitting right, like in the first row, right next to the stage. I could literally see them sweating. And I think being so close had a certain effect also.
Oh, it totally can. You get where you're placed. I mean, people don't talk about this.
When you have sweat seating, it always helps.
And, well, I think it did. In fact, I kind of was fantasizing, okay, this is their... they're coming, they're auditioning, and I'm a producer.
Looking at the girls' dress.
But of course, I'm not a big producer, so I have to keep quiet during the audition.
The ushers kept handing out schmutzbrellas in case people sweating on the front row.
Not quite.
What about the Apple? Why is the Apple Tree up there?
I don't know.
Well,
and Kristen Chenoweth didn't even get a nomination.
And she was the only reason to see the Apple Tree.
Yeah, I think that's the egregiously overlooked nomination of the year.
Chenoweth.
Chenoweth. She should have been nominated for Best Actress. She was incredible. Yes, she was doing Kristen Chenoweth, but she does it so well. And this really did afford her.
Who else could really do Kristen Chenoweth?
To show what a talented comedian, actress, singer she is. That said, it is a good revival, but it was never a great show.
And it was an okay revival. I think they spent more than $3 on the scenery and the sets for it, Does anybody have a problem with the fact that Les Mis was not nominated for Best Revival? Because?
Well, because, again, I had the same reaction to this show that I had to A Chorus Line. Yeah, it's the same Les Mis. And it's like, oh, it's a revival? Did it ever leave?
Well, it didn't. It was just the touring company came back.
Yeah,
but
it was a trimmed down. It was a trimmed down version.
Like,
it was
wow.
trimmed down. But I would have liked to see it once without a turntable.
I
Seriously.
saw a Les Mis, and I was affected by Les Mis as I've never been before.
Oh,
so
really? Okay.
And, yeah. So to me that says that I can understand why it wasn't nominated, but I'm a little disappointed. Now, then you have 110 degrees in the shade.
It's just 110 in the shade.
Yeah, you added some degrees of separation there, but okay.
Okay, 110 in the shade. Now, it doesn't really matter whether they're innovative on this revival or not because it's been so long since anyone's actually seen it. Most of us have seen it for the first time. This was my first time.
Inga Svensson, I remember her fondly.
Well, she still had her leg?
She had beautiful, long blonde hair down her back.
Who was this?
That was the
original, Inga Svensson.
Yeah, when she lets down her hair.
Okay, well, and this had Audra McDonald.
Who doesn't let down
but the reason the first wasn't a huge... because I read like liner notes and I saw Peter Felicia talk about this particular show, and the original 110 in the Shade, one of the reasons it just didn't become a smash was Inga Svensson hurt herself very badly, falling off the stage at one point, and then they had understudies in, and she was clomping around on a bad leg. So that was what that was about. But what do you think of this revival, Charlie?
I enjoyed it a lot more than I had expected to. I hadn't heard the advance word was not good, but it's a very enjoyable show based on The Rainmaker, and I've always enjoyed The Rainmaker. I enjoyed the score. The story sticks pretty closely to the original play, and it's a nice, pleasant...
but nothing more...
And Richard Nash adapted his own play,
and did a very good job of it.
So
and it was nice to see John Cullum again. He was in 2 shows this year. He was in this and How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, that's right. I think he was a little more interesting in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, although he's perfectly fine in 110.
Well, in the 110, he's pretty much on familiar turf. He's a farmer.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's ever seen him play a dog before, which is what he did in The Grinch. And yes, he did it very well.
What did you think of Company? That's kind of... We haven't talked about that.
Well, I think Company is the one that will win. I don't think it should win, but I think it will win because Sweeney Todd, by the same director, did not win last year. Mm-hmm. And this is a very innovative company in that, as with Sweeney Todd, John Doyle makes his actors double as musicians. And I loved it in Sweeney Todd. I liked it in Company. I you know, I just got the cast recording for this score.
I can't
and
wait
it's
till he
fabulous.
does the Gatsu Go
Sorry?
Disco.
I had a whole new appreciation for the score, but you know what?
What?
I really did enjoy this production.
You did or you did not?
Did not.
Oh.
Did not.
Now, you liked that other one that they did about at the Roundabout 8 or something years ago with Boyd Gaines, and see, that one left me totally cold, and I was primed to love Company.
Yeah.
This one I got more into, maybe because I like Raul Esparza so much, or it was
he made the show. I mean, he was it. He was the first time we saw Bobby as a fully dimensional human being, you know, with all the angst and.
So, Charlie, let me ask you, what was your favorite show of the whole season?
Ooh.
It could be off-Broadway, could be Broadway.
Favorite.
Kiki and Herb.
Well, it was certainly not
Kiki and Herb, no.
But it's probably
there
a
was
Disney
actually
show.
an off-Broadway show that I liked very much, which unfortunately is no longer playing, called The Accomplices.
Excellent, I agree. One of the best
It's a good
plays of the year.
Yeah.
This is takes place during the Second World War, where a Jewish group is trying to convince the Roosevelt administration to let more people in, more Jews in basically, or more people in period, because people are being killed in concentration camps. And you see not only the difficulties they had with the government, but with more mainstream Jewish groups who were just coward into keeping silent.
Yeah, that's where the title comes in.
You know, the play
We're
got rave
Accomplices.
reviews, except from the New York Times, which sent its third or fourth stringer to review it. It was a disgraceful review. Didn't get the play at all, and it really
and that killed its chances.
Killed
of
its
being.
chances. An off-Broadway show has to get a Times review.
I have to be honest. I think it's a good play. I don't think the production was good, and I don't think the production did it justice. It was not directed very well.
Well, I don't think we asked your opinion.
Okay.
Well, I think it may have been loosely directed.
You're taking Jeff lessons now.
To me, it hit home. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Oh, all right. Be careful.
Going back to Broadway.
Yeah.
The musical that I really enjoyed, brace yourself,
Mary Poppins. Yeah, we know.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wonderful show.
Oh, Charlie, you have a friend and a fan
I loved
here.
every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, what I liked...
He also liked Chitty Chitty Bang Bang the previous year.
No, I hated that.
Well,
okay.
John Simon actually
would help that.
John Simon actually liked that.
He did like Mary Poppins, yeah.
I meant Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Okay.
Well,
He may have liked Mary Poppins also. What I liked about Mary Poppins, number one, it's got that beautiful Sherman Brothers score. They had this is spoonful of sugar, supercalifragilistic.
Chim Chim Cheree, of course.
You know, I'm very sorry that I love to laugh and didn't make it.
Yeah, that's right.
We're forgetting the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Well, I thought that they slowed that down a little too much. That got a little overdrawn.
No, but it's true.
Julie Andrews couldn't spell it when it came her turn on Spelling Bee.
I suspect
Really?
Julie Andrews could have spelled it, but you know what? The spelling was actually kind of boring. I think they did the supercalifragilistic number much better in the film. That's a nice, speedy number. Don't try and slow it down.
Good point.
But that said, what they had to do, you'll notice that there are two producers here, Cameron McIntosh and Walt Disney, which means it's irrelevant how good or bad the show is, it'll run
Walt's
forever.
dead. I think it's the Disney company.
Well, he's frozen. If he's mad, he'll burn up and come back, so yeah.
What they tried to do here was a greater blend of the Disney movie and the P.J. Travin's books. And I think they succeeded.
Yeah, I think they did a good job, too. I don't know if it's my favorite show of the season.
But we certainly hope Rebecca Luker wins.
I think
well, yes, and Bill P. Jones.
She should definitely win.
Well, Charlie, I'm so glad that you were able to join us as part of the WGBB Tony Awards.
It has been my pleasure
special.
to have appeared on every one of the WGBB Tony shows.
Our pleasure even more.